So, with Festival of the Lost in its last day and ending just the day after I sent this out to go live, essentially it is time to go over why Festival of the Lost was a real, in an element of hit or miss, was real miss this year. So, starting from the top, just to break down everything bit by bit, first off, the gameplay was real bland. Not gonna lie. As much as the only new thing being Amaru dialogue, which listening to a condescending jerk the entire time wasn't exactly the thing I wanted to do, Lost Sectors didn't get any new maps. They're all the same maps from last year, and last year the only new map we got was the EDZ one. So yeah, already off the bat, not so great. And then they limited how many headless ones we could defeat, less time, and we can only get about 10, when originally we could get up to 20... Yeah, I said that right. 20 before the final boss. And then they go out and add a legend version that has a rotating mode. Sure, it's not a daily thing. You can rotate to new locations every sure. But it's light capped and is practically master mode activity. There's champions. There is so many things that hurt to the point where literally the only viable loadout was the tractor cannon bonk / 1-2 punch setup. That was practically the only viable thing. Granted, the easiest run of the legendary Lost Sectors I had was when I had 3 of these titans working in perfect harmony. And immediately after that round, I had the hardest one because I had 2 other titans that had no idea how to do this setup and struggled so much. So, yeah, I get it. Harder mode, various triumphs. It's sure, I'd be fine with having a harder mode have additional triumphs, or at least be a rite of passage for the title. But then Bungie goes, oh, by the way, if you do a Legend Lost Sector, you have better chances at loot. Yeah, I mean, we have to do the hard version to get worthwhile loot. Which even still, didn't drop nearly anything. Going back to something I've brought up multiple times throughout Festival of the Lost, drop rates seemed individually skewed. Like, I got so many Acosmics. I had so many at one point, my Postmaster was half filled with just that grenade launcher. Meanwhile, I got, let's just say for comparison in that same run, 5 of the pulse rifles, 3 or 4 of the sniper rifles, and, oh yeah, a horror story. A horror story. When argument is to be made that horror story is the only thing worth grinding for the broad page. Mainly because I know my Cogbury, it's a sniper, you can use it, bleh, Jurassic Green, rapid fire pulse. Really, it's very limited, mostly PvP, but then Horror Story has roles for PvP and PvE alike. So, yeah, no, that's a good one to go for. A new Stasis Auto Rifle, sure. And then it just doesn't show up. Which, Bungie tried to mitigate that. It didn't show up. Well, if you get Eerie Engrams, you can just take them to focusing and buy them. But, Eerie Engrams seem to also have a 1 in 3 chance of dropping. There were some days I went through max pages to few and only had like 3 Eerie Engrams by the end of it. With like 8 runs. So, yeah, that was the next issue. Everything revolved around the new Eerie Engrams, which only dropped at most 1 per run and even still had like a 1 in 3. Now, then there's the next part. Sure, there's candy all over the place. I ended with 37,000 candy. Focusing isn't that expensive. I could do this a lot for all of them. Even if I did the 2500 version, I could at least make like 8 or 10 exotics. But then, you need an Eerie Engram for it. And at that point, I don't need any exotics. So there we go. I could have used the weapons. But there's one more thing that was really sought after. Lost Mementos. A really cool looking memento, which is the only one that has ever been limited time, and fun fact is the first memento almost in 2 years of Destiny that has been added since mementos were introduced. The Scaly Keepsake, the Triumphant one from Vanguard, and the Gross Gold one from Trials. Those are the only 3 in existence, and those are the only 3 that have ever come around. Until the Twilight memento, which isn't animated, it is all black, does look super sleek, super clean, but at the same time, let's go over how that was earned. Oh yeah, you had to do a triumph, which, 2 of the 3 of the triumphs were bugged for progress, so it was harder to do them. Oh yeah, you had to go into Legend only to progress one of those triumphs, and then even still, the triumph required you to be in Legend, so that's great. That was a bit of a struggle fest, but then you have to do the triumph to get mementos. Oh, that's great. Then it was bugged, so they weren't even dropping from their source, which, sure, was fixed within the first week. We had 2 more weeks to go, but then they come out of bland, eerie engrams. Not a focused one. Not a individual one that says, oh, turn this eerie engram into a memento for like 5,000 candy. They drop from the open one that has 10 other possible things to drop. Some of them being enhancement cores. I have 1,500 of these. I can break down things and buy as many enhancement cores as I want before legendary shards go away. I don't need any of these. I have 3 character postmasters filled with prisms. I don't need any of these. I'm practically full in Ascendant shards. I don't need them. Ascendant alloys. I could still use them, not gonna lie. But then for weapons, I found one that I wanted to keep for both ends of the game. That's fine. I'd never wanted one of these. This is a really crappy archetype, which doesn't really have a leg to stand on. This was the only thing that really interested me because things like Demo Headstone for a Stasis Warlock build. Things like Dynamic Sway Target Lock in case I wanted to abuse the auto rifle meta a little bit. But then, I wanted mementos. So I had to contend with 10 other drops just to get the memento I wanted. Which Bungie's decision to make a memento that is limited time is asinine. On the latest. Not to mention the fact that it has the memento mechanic where you can only hold 1 at a time. So you could theoretically have 2. One in your inventory, one in your postmaster. So you can hold on to 2. While you wait for next year to earn more. Bungie, what were you thinking? I get there could be code. That it's impossible to make just one memento, only one. That you had to make the other ones also stack. But even still, why still do they only drop once and only can hold once? Really, why? It's a consumable. Why not just let us have more than one? We have weapon mods. Hell, we have a perfect example, the Sweaty Confetti. That's a weapon mod. You can put it on things with consumables. That is the only weapon mod and weapon application thing that is consumable. So why is the only other consumable not stackable? And then back to my point, why was it limited time? I get it would be hard to have the limited engram or the Halloween engram in the middle of Dawning, but at the same time, why not just introduce an event memento? I get it's unique, but at the same time, mementos can apply a shader or unlock a shader for you. Why not have the event memento that has unique attributes that you could apply all 4 of the event shaders to them? Because honestly, if Dawning comes out, there isn't a Dawning engram. If Guardian Games come back, Dawning engrams and whatever other event I'm not thinking of. But regardless, why not just make an event engram that has an event memento that has all 4 of the event shaders so you don't have to pick and choose? Because I'm not going to lie, on some of my weapons, I am striving to get lost mementos on the ones that make sense. If it comes back around that I have to destroy a lost memento because another better looking memento comes out for another event, I'm going to be a little bit mad. But in the end, I feel like the whole grind was just not great. Especially, I'm not even going to go into them nerfing the page farm that made it so easy. But, you know, Festival Losses was real, and like I said, in the line of hit or miss, it missed. There was so many things that, sure, you could earn. Sure, there was a lot of grind to it. But in the end, the grind was bleh. Weapons dropped unbalanced. Mementos were really hard to get because their drop chances were 1 in 11. And a lot of other not-so-great items that seem to be for the average player, not for the person hunting the mementos. Like, literally, if they had a candy to engram conversion, like you take, let's say, 2,000 candy, turn it into an engram, or even still, take, let's just say, for the sake of exotics, 3,000 candy and make a guaranteed memento engram. That could have solved practically all of the issues of not having mementos, because then once I got all the mementos I wanted out of candy, then I could buy all the horror stories I wanted. And then I could stop playing the event. But even still, even tonight, the last Monday before Festival goes away, I got work in the morning, so I'm not going to be able to play until reset. With that, I'm going to have to play this the rest of the night and hope I can wrap up everything I want before this event goes away, and probably regret all the effort I put into it. With that, my name is Mad Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.